15 famous people who aren't real. For years, we have come to associate certain people with certain brands, often believing that they were the person behind the successful products. Or stories have been told for centuries about certain individuals that we take for granted are real. Today, we have a look at some well-known people that actually don't exist. Number 15. Believe It. Thousands of fans fell in love with Japanese singing sensation Ai Miyaguchi, a member of the popular singing group AKB48. Her hair was always perfect, her features delicate, and her voice flawless. There are 61 members of this singing group who perform on stage regularly, and girls compete with each other to become a member. Ai's profile said she enjoyed track and field, that she was from a small island on Honshu that was featured in various magazines. Turns out, those were all lies. She doesn't exist. Her image was computer-generated using features from 6 of the group's members, and her voice courtesy of autotune. People believe it was for a publicity stunt, although no one from AKB48 has confirmed that. Number 14. Once Upon a Time. There are very few who haven't seen the iconic symbol of Uncle Sam. Many believe that Uncle Sam was just a nickname given to Samuel Wilson, the man who supplied meat rations to U.S. soldiers in 1812. The first time Uncle Sam appeared in literature was in 1816, in the book The Adventures of Uncle Sam in Search After His Lost Honor. Uncle Sam had nothing to do with Samuel Wilson, and the image as we know it today was a copycat of one made for Britain using the face of Lord Kitchener. They of course altered it to make him American, and as they say, the rest is history. Number 13. Just a Story. Robin Hood and His Merry Men. What a remarkable story. So much so that many people believe the heroic outlaw to have been real. Sad to say, he's just a legend. Our hero in green tights and quirky hat was said to reside in Sherwood Forest and steal from the rich to give to the poor. Robin Hood and His Merry Men have also appeared in a number of poems from the 14th and 15th century. He's captured the hearts and imaginations of kids and adults since then. It's a real shame that he wasn't, real. Number 12. Thumbs Up. David Manning was an apparent movie critic who came to light in 2001. When Rob Schneider's film The Animal was released, everybody despised it. The reviews were so bad that Sony invented some fake press and a fake movie critic. Manning praised the movie along with other movies that also failed dismally, including Hollow Man, Vertical Limit, and The Patriot. Omar Razek and Ann Belknap actually sued Sony when the fake critic recommended people go watch The Dark Knight, as they said they were duped into watching it and it was terrible. Sony actually settled filmgoers out of court due to their fictional movie critic, David Manning. Number 11. Land of Make-Believe. Steeped in legend is the story of King Arthur, the legendary monarch who defended his kingdom against Saxon invaders during the 6th century. He of course didn't achieve that on his own, but had his loyal Knights of the Round Table lend a helping hand. Then there are others, his wife Guinevere, Sir Lancelot, his father Uther Pendragon, and we can't forget the wizard Merlin. Historians are divided about whether he was real or not, and many have dedicated their lives to proving his existence, but so far have reaped nothing. Number 10. You Can Bake Someone Happy, with Betty Crocker. The Betty Crocker product range is huge, and it's been around since 1921. It's obvious that Betty Crocker doesn't still run the company, but you would have assumed that at one stage maybe she did. When she popped onto the scene back in the 1920s, she would often respond to customers' questions. She got her own radio cooking show, and by 1945 was the second most well-known woman in America, next to Eleanor Roosevelt. This iconic woman turned out to be a man. Well, maybe not quite, but she was invented by Sam Gale, Washburn Crosby's advertising director, who believed women would rather take cooking advice from another woman as opposed to a man, and he was spot on. Number 9. Tell All. The tale of William Tell is an oldie but a goodie. The story of William Tell originated in Switzerland and depicts the father, William Tell, shooting an apple perched on the top of his son's head. The legend began in the 15th century, and there are various accounts of what actually happened. One tale states that Tell and his son went to visit a certain city in Austria, where the recently appointed Austrian vote of Altdorf had placed his hat on top of a pole and forced all the citizens to bow down to it. Tell and his son refused, and they were taken to jail. When they fought the idea, it was suggested that Tell shoot the apple on his son's head, and if he hit the apple, he would avoid going to jail. End result, legend says he shot the apple. Truth, William Tell is a figment of somebody's imagination. Number 8. Double Life. An actor playing an actor. Wait, what? Confusing, we know, but that's what happened here. Allegra Coleman was a made-up celebrity created by writer Martha Sherril. This make-believe actress was said to be joining Woody Allen in an an upcoming film, reported to have a steamy relationship with David Schwimmer, and said to be close friends with Deepak Chopra. The truth was eventually revealed by Esquire magazine, and a satirical book was written about life in Hollywood. Despite the fact that Allegra Coleman ended up being fake, this whole stunt kickstarted Ali Larter's career, who ended up in Legally Blonde, Final Destination, and Heroes. Number 7. A Star is Born. Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing was released in late 1987, and this software has successfully taught thousands of children and adults to type. These days, Mavis has her own website and Twitter account, and also has a charity called Mavis Cares. So who is Mavis Beacon actually? Well, she's nobody, to be honest. Her original face was from a random person found in a department store, and over time she's been replaced with CGI. Even after the story broke, there were many people who point blank refused to believe it. A man allegedly kept ringing the company just to triple check that the information he'd heard was indeed the truth. Number 6. The jury is out. There's still mystery surrounding this one, so we're going to let you decide whether she's real or not. She has perfect, plump lips, Bambi eyes, and looks like a doll or a character straight from a video game. Her name on Instagram is Lil Michaela, and she already has 65,000 fans, and we imagine more after today. She often posts pics of herself at the gym, going to a museum, or going to a local nightclub, and her fans just want to know the truth. Many keep asking her the same question, real or not? Up until now, she's keeping quiet. So what do you guys think? Number 5. Easy as pie. Pythagoras was the founder of the Pythagoreanism movement and a Greek philosopher who is alleged to have lived around 570 to 495 BC. These days, there are a growing number of people who believe the work of Pythagoras to be fictional. Classical Philosophy, A History of Philosophy Without Any Gaps, Volume 1, explains that he never actually wrote anything that we're aware of, and all we know about him comes from outside sources. The Book of Dead Philosophers also suggests that he is a made-up person. Around this time, there was a strange Italian cult that has now been credited for inventing Pythagoras, and that he was purely there as a leader to support their bizarre beliefs. Number 4. Will the real Jack Dawson please stand up? We all know the movie Titanic, and of course the character Jack Dawson. We've been led to believe that the story is true, and that Jack Dawson was a real person. But was he? There are no records of a Jack Dawson ever boarding the Titanic. Sure, he might have slipped on board, but it's unlikely. There was a J. Dawson who was on board the ship, but he had a little more money than the Jack we know. Rose and Jack were fictional characters created by James Cameron. Number 3. They all lived happily ever after. Carolyn King is one of the most famous authors, having sold more than 100 million copies of Nancy Drew. In her heyday, she was profiled in magazines and asked to join the Authors Guild, and after 100 years was still churning out books. How is that possible? That's because she's not real. Carolyn King does not exist. Many ghostwriters exist though, and they can be credited for the highly successful books. Mildred Wirt Benson wrote the majority of the books and signed a secrecy document. Things got nasty though when the company started threatening writers who were seeking recognition for their work. In the end, there was a lawsuit against them, and they gave credit to Harriet Stratemeyer only, who did write a fair number of books. When Mildred Wirt Benson was asked to testify, the truth was revealed, but sadly she still didn't get the recognition she rightfully deserved. Number 2. Secrets Out. Adaptation is a film that was released in 2002 starring Nicolas Cage. The film depicts two main characters, Charlie and Donald Kaufman. Strangely though, the one brother, Donald, didn't really exist. He was a totally made-up character, despite being credited in the film credits as having written the film, and being included in the final words, "In loving memory of Donald Kaufman." He's the first fictional character to receive an Oscar nomination. Number 1. More Than Meets the Eye. The Gorillaz are a musical project created in 1998, and it's pretty obvious they're not real, and no one tried to convince us otherwise. It's a virtual band, which includes 4 animated characters. They are 2D lead vocalist, keyboard, Murdoch Nichols, bass guitar Noodle, guitar and occasional vocals, and Russell Hobbs on drums and percussion. The group, with a little help from technology, have even performed live before. The same team who are behind the holographic projection technology that made the Gorillaz come to life also managed to fool a huge concert arena. Unbeknownst to everyone, who they believed was Madonna performing live on stage turned out to be a holographic display. It was all virtual reality. We can't help but think there may have been a few disappointed Madonna fans after that. Did you still believe that any of these characters were real? Let us know which one in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel for more fun videos just like this. Thanks for watching.